And that's how you get it done. I think if I check my calendar, I'll see that 6.5 days ago, I got up and had a hypermotile green butt blowout. Not a cannon, not a, just a result of eating one Starbucks birthday pop that had probably 2 or 3 tablespoons of palm oil that was keeping that cake in the middle nice and moist. Not just the coating doing it, it was oil. I took Imodium. That was 6.5 days ago. None since then. I've stuck to my diet of tinned beef, cheese, condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, and have not even eaten any fruit. No banana, no fruit, no nothing. And in those 6 days, it was on like the fourth day, I dropped the perfect DEUCE. Still used a butt plug. Yeah, I'll say it because it's made out of a wet one's wipe to make sure that the next stool wasn't loose or nothing slipping, because you never know how long the effects of a single dose of these toxic GMO vegetable oil bullshit will last. It just because and this morning, after skipping one day, I had dropped another clean, good, hard DEUCE, solid DEUCE, big and low. That'll be the title. DEUCE big and low. And I wiped that motherfucker. I got up inside of me and stuff. I wanted to make sure that butthole's absolutely spotless clean so I'm not staining my pants in any way, shape, because I don't wear underwear except for thermals. I've got one never used and one hanging dry, and I managed to with it's actually, when you look at it, but I've had to be rude to people this past week who are just dying to give me some of their favorite food, or and I like Subway sandwiches. I like Cane's chicken fingers. People trying to give me all kind of different foods, and I just had to tell them no, 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 no. And I can clearly see that as long as I stick to what I know to be non-toxic, I'm going to be just fine. My guts are fine. They're not hypermotile. I don't feel any. I ate almost 90 minutes ago, brushed my teeth, had the interaction with the woman, been doing little odd end chores. Actually, I've got my ditch bag all perfectly. I got to wait on packing away the clothes, but I actually have a offer to have dinner this evening. Or locally, I've got the address in here. I'm supposed to Uber over. He'll bring me back. I don't know, because at any minute, while it's warm enough, because it's creeping up on 70 windy degrees, I'm not really in as much pain as I was yesterday. And I want to keep mentioning that sometimes when you smoke a little pot and you hadn't had none, you get what we call breakthrough pain. You need to research that term so you understand. It's called breakthrough pain. You can actually get it with. I noticed one time when I used Stadol for my somatic pain, body pain, and for cerebral vasculitis headaches that were triggered by less than 20 doses of Coumadin. Yeah, I don't think I even got to the 18th, 16th, 18th dose before I went to my doctor screaming about the fact that I was having what doctors will call a migraine, but technically isn't a hemicranieur. It's supposed to only be on one side of the head, but I had all the visual effects, all the sensitivity to light and sound. And so I was given Stadol. The point I was going to make to bring you back on track was that one evening I had taken they stayed all and was getting up, was going outside my cabin to do some chores, and sure as shit, I stepped on a scorpion. And you know, a scorpion uses a neurotoxin, lightning quick neurotoxin that puts a world of hurt on you. And you know what? The Stadol, the butorphanol tartrate nasal spray, instead of killing that neurotoxin pain, actually, what did I just allowed through for breakthrough and actually amplified it. It acted as a potentiator of that scorpion pain. And if you've never really been popped by it, you don't have to worry too much about North American scorpions. They're not lethal, but they hurt like crazy. And actually, I guess I should tell you now, I used to make for my wife and other loved ones, I used to always carry 2 scorpion tipped pins at all times, because number one, you have to be close enough for me to scratch you with it. That proves that you're in my space and I got to legally use. And then how the hell are the cops going to be able to do anything? There's almost really no residue, no nothing. Let me explain briefly to you how I came about inventing these little sweet things. Because I normally, being a left-hander, I will put pins, I'll stick them in the fold of my shirt, not in the pocket, because that's a little further to the left, a little more. I'd usually have 1 or 2 right there handy all the time. And 2. I remember the first time I used one on a crackhead, he started screaming and hopping around, yelling that I shot him. This was down in between 6th and 7th Street in Austin, Texas. It was right next to a very nice little restaurant, the Cajun restaurant, but crackhead closed in on and was trying to touch my arm, was trying to grab my arm. And all I did was just rip out one of the pins and just barely scratch the inside of his arm. And he went down like a sack of... Okay. This is your bonus round in case you're not getting it. Try to tell you people, you never know what's going to come at the end. I'm telling you how to make a great self-defense weapon. I wish I had something better to tell you how to stabilize or potentiate that toxin, but I never worked on it much because it works for me. Now, the way that you capture scorpions is you put it's 2 boards together, like 2x10s, 2x12s would be ideal. The longer the better, and then kind of prop them up together with with cinder blocks. I actually first developed when I would sometimes rearrange my raised beds, because I would take them off. I'd notice that they were in there, and getting out of the rain. And you'll find that right after rain, you can pull them boards apart, and you better move quickly and scoop them up. Don't know really how. Best way to do it is use a good pair of plastic tongs, like pinchers. Don't damage it much. You really want to keep it alive until the last minute when you pinch off the tails. But you take about 20 scorpions and you carefully snip off the tails, and you can make a little press out of anything, any 2 types of material, preferably non-porous, and you just squeeze the venom out you want it to go into like a little tiny kind of like conical shaped thing. And I haven't even told you how to prep the pin. That's how you collect the scorpions, and collect the venom. Now, I've typically been using the rollerball pins since they came along, Pentel, and eventually you'll notice that the rollerball will wear out if you're hypergraphic like I've been most of my life. I mean, it wasn't abnormal for me to set and during the night write perfect, first draft perfect, 30 to 50 page, expert opinion letters, etc. And as that ball would wear out and fall out, that's when I would clean up the whole pen, You know, take out the ink cartridge and stuff like that, and then take a a good strong needle and stick it in that little hole and move it around like that, circular, to widen out and create a little bit of a flange. Creates a nice sharp point, and then from there you take it and put it in a decent sulfuric acid. You can take battery acid, it's 3%, and boil it for a while in a borosilicate container, a glass container. Well, borosilicate because it won't crack. And you can, from 3% battery acid solution that you can buy at any auto parts store, you can produce, you know, very easily 30 to 40% to get. Then you put the head of the pin, really no more, don't need, all the rest of the pin is acid resistant, and let it etch that metal head and create a really jagged, the part that you opened up and made sure you had plenty of room in there. And then you take it out and, of course, like rinse it, let it set in distilled water several times, remove the acid. And this is when you actually do your venom collection. It's at the very end, because that venom will tend to dry pretty quickly. You want to squeeze it all out, and then take the pin that you have prepared with that flange on the end. It's got room in there for more venom, and you want to put that pin down in that freshly squeezed venom and move it around and pick it up even and let it so it go down and seep into all those little etches that you made in the metal and stuff. You want it to be all along the flange, real thick. Keep dipping it until you get every drop that you can on that tip, and then cap it. And I've had them maintain potency for up to 6 months. Now, with a little more work, I can make that probably proteinaceous neurotoxin more stable, etc. But no, you really have to refresh them every now and then. But if you want to have a self-defense weapon that's absolutely hypoallergenic, is non-lethal, leaves almost no mark. The scorpions in North America, they leave like about, at most, a little 1 millimeter red mark. And if some guy's attacking you and he gets a little scratch on him, he got a scratch, you know. You test it, you find out. It's really not, there's nothing illegal about it, because there's no intent to kill here or do permanent damage. It's the point I'm going to make. This is the end of the bonus round. Is that scorpion venom, just like that Stay-Doll. Scorpion venom, pepper spray don't work. Mace don't work on people that are fucked up on fucking bath salts, meth, and shit like that. That shit, pepper spray ain't gonna slow down a fucking meth head. You're just gonna have, anything increases rage. But the one thing that gets through all those other drugs, they can have a gallon of alcohol in them. They can have $100 worth of heroin in them, but they're going to still feel that scorpion venom. And it's worked many times for me. I always made sure my wife carried at least 1 or 2 with her. I was constantly collecting after every rain. This white boy would be out there collecting scorpions from between the boards that I had set up for them to come hide in and get away from the rain. And you know, it's not that hard to do. So there you go. I went from talking about DEUCE BIG'N'LOW to giving you the bonus round of how to make one of the best self-defense weapons there is, because it's just like a knife. If they're close enough for you to jab them, I recommend jabbing. But if you've looked at the end good enough, you know you've got enough there to scratch the skin and begin introducing, actually just jab them. Jab them in the fucking eyeball. That'll get the fucking point through to them. But I just told you how to make one of the best, because I don't know of any drug that will screen out scorpion venom. None. Ain't happening. Stadol actually amplified the effect. Instead of 30 seconds of grunting and howling, I did about 2 minutes worth of grunting and howling. So anyway, from DEUCE Big'N'LOW to the ace, or the number one, the best to get through to a druggie or a drunk and wake their ass up, is scorpion venom. You can come up with better designs than mine. You can come up with an injectable thing, but at this point in time, I cannot advise you upon how to keep that venom liquid and keep it stable without destroying it. I don't know. I haven't experimented. I don't know it all, despite what some of you think. Okay?